Welcome to the Discourse Analyzer AI Toolkit, where articles come alive. You're listening to the audio version of our article. For the full text and an interactive experience, check out the link in the description below. Interact with any selection using our AI assistant to enhance your understanding. Let's explore.
Theoretical Frameworks of Environmental Discourse Analysis. Environmental Discourse Analysis, EDA, investigates how language and communication influence our perceptions of environmental issues. Theoretical frameworks like social constructivism, critical discourse analysis, ecolinguistics, and narrative theory provide key insights into understanding how societal, ideological, and narrative forces shape environmental discourse. 1. Social constructivism. Environmental discourse analysis examines how language shapes and is shaped by environmental knowledge, policies, and attitudes. Social constructivism is a key theoretical framework within this analysis, providing insight into how societal factors influence perceptions of the environment. 1. Conceptual framework. Social constructivism posits that reality is constructed through social processes. For environmental issues, this framework highlights how societal perceptions and discussions of the environment are influenced by cultural, historical, and political contexts, rather than purely objective truths. 2. Influential thinkers. Michel Foucault. Foucault analyzed the interplay between knowledge and power. In environmental discourse, his work suggests that those in power shape the narratives surrounding environmental issues, influencing which topics gain prominence and how they are addressed. Berger and Luckman. Their seminal work, The Social Construction of Reality, emphasizes that knowledge, including environmental knowledge, is constructed through societal interactions. This perspective helps explain why certain environmental narratives dominate while others remain marginalized. 3. Implications for environmental discourse. Framing and narratives. The language and narratives used to describe environmental issues, such as climate change or deforestation, significantly influence public perception and policy. For instance, framing climate change as a crisis versus a challenge can provoke different responses. Stakeholders and influence. Various stakeholders, including governments, NGOs, and corporations, have diverse perspectives that shape environmental discourse. The power dynamics among these stakeholders determine which viewpoints are amplified or suppressed. Sociopolitical contexts. The sociopolitical context in which environmental discourse occurs is crucial. For example, the discourse on climate change differs between developed and developing countries, reflecting varying socioeconomic concerns and power structures. Social constructivism aids environmental discourse analysis by revealing how societal interactions shape the narratives and understanding of environmental issues. These narratives significantly influence attitudes, policies, and actions related to the environment. 2. Critical discourse analysis. Critical discourse analysis, CDA, is a framework that explores how language and communication reflect and shape power dynamics, especially in the context of environmental discourse. This theoretical approach seeks to uncover the underlying power structures and ideologies influencing environmental narratives and communication. 1. Analyzing power dynamics in environmental communication. CDA focuses on how language used in environmental discussions can reflect and reproduce societal power dynamics. By analyzing texts, speeches, and other forms of communication, CDA identifies how dominant groups can shape environmental discourse to maintain or enhance their power, often at the expense of marginalized voices. 2. Influential thinkers. Norman Fairclough. A pioneer in CDA, Fairclough's work emphasizes the relationship between language and social power. He argued that discourse both reflects and shapes social structures, which is crucial in environmental communication where power dynamics often dictate whose perspectives are heard and whose are ignored. Toon A. Van Dyke. Van Dyke's work in discourse analysis extends to how ideologies are embedded in language. In the environmental context, this means exploring how dominant ideologies can shape discourse to serve specific interests, often marginalizing alternative views on environmental issues. Critical discourse analysis is a vital theoretical framework for understanding environmental discourse. By examining the language used in environmental communication, CDA reveals the power dynamics and ideologies that shape how environmental issues are framed, discussed, and addressed, highlighting the importance of critically analyzing who gets to define environmental narratives and why. 3. Ecolinguistics theory. Ecolinguistics theory is a framework that studies the relationship between language and the environment. It emphasizes the ecological implications of language, analyzing how the ways we talk about the environment can influence perceptions and behaviors towards nature. 1. Investigating language's ecological implications. Ecolinguistics investigates how language can shape our interactions with the environment by reflecting, reinforcing, or challenging ecological ideologies. It examines how certain linguistic patterns can promote sustainability or, conversely, perpetuate harmful practices towards the environment. 2. Influential thinker. Aaron Stibbe. A leading figure in ecolinguistics, Stibbe's work emphasizes the importance of language in shaping how societies interact with the natural world. He explores how narratives in literature, media, and everyday discourse can either support or undermine ecological well-being, urging a shift towards more environmentally conscious language. Ecolinguistics theory provides valuable insights into the ecological implications of language. By critically analyzing environmental discourse, it reveals how language shapes societal attitudes towards nature, highlighting the need to use language that fosters ecological awareness and sustainability. 4. Narrative theory. Narrative theory examines the role of storytelling in shaping human understanding and attitudes. In environmental discourse, it studies how narratives influence our perceptions of environmental issues, guiding both public opinion and policymaking. 1. Studying storytelling in environmental communication. Narrative theory explores how stories shape our understanding of environmental issues by providing structure and meaning to complex topics. By examining the themes, characters, and plots within environmental stories, this theory reveals how narratives can frame environmental issues in ways that influence public perception and drive policy decisions. 2. Influential thinkers. Walter Fisher. Fisher's concept of the narrative paradigm suggests that humans are natural storytellers and understand the world through narratives. In environmental discourse, his ideas help explain how narratives can resonate with audiences and foster understanding and engagement with environmental issues. Jerome Bruner. A key figure in narrative psychology, Bruner emphasized the role of narratives in shaping how people perceive and interpret reality. His work highlights how narratives in environmental communication can shape public perception by structuring how we think about nature and environmental challenges. Narrative theory provides a valuable lens through which to analyze environmental discourse. By focusing on storytelling, this framework helps explain how narratives shape perceptions of environmental issues and influence public and political actions, highlighting the importance of crafting compelling and truthful narratives for environmental advocacy. Conclusion. Theoretical frameworks offer powerful tools for dissecting environmental discourse. Social constructivism explores how societal interactions shape perceptions, while critical discourse analysis uncovers power dynamics and ideologies in environmental communication. Ecolinguistics analyzes language's ecological implications, and narrative theory investigates storytelling's role in shaping perceptions. Together, they provide a comprehensive understanding of how discourse frames environmental knowledge, influencing attitudes, policies, and actions. Frequently asked questions. What are the key theoretical frameworks used in environmental discourse analysis, EDA? The key theoretical frameworks in EDA include social constructivism, critical discourse analysis, ecolinguistics theory, and narrative theory. Each framework offers distinct insights into how language and communication shape our understanding of environmental issues. What is social constructivism, and how does it apply to EDA? Social constructivism posits that reality is constructed through social processes. In EDA, it reveals how cultural, historical, and political contexts shape our understanding and discussions of environmental issues, influenced by influential thinkers like Michel Foucault and Berger and Luckmann. How does critical discourse analysis, CDA, approach environmental discourse? CDA examines how language in environmental discussions reflects and shapes societal power dynamics. It uncovers how dominant groups influence environmental discourse, often sidelining marginalized voices. Norman Fairclough and Toon A. van Dyke have significantly contributed to this framework. What is ecolinguistics theory, and why is it significant? Ecolinguistics theory studies the relationship between language and the environment. It highlights how language influences perceptions and behaviors towards nature, promoting or undermining sustainability. Aaron Stibbe is a notable thinker in this field. How does narrative theory contribute to EDA? Narrative theory examines how storytelling shapes perceptions of environmental issues. It helps understand how narratives influence public opinion and policymaking, with key contributors like Walter Fisher and Jerome Bruner emphasizing the importance of stories in framing environmental discourse. How do framing and narratives affect environmental discourse? Framing and narratives in environmental discourse significantly impact how issues are perceived and addressed. For example, framing climate change as a crisis versus a challenge can elicit different responses, influencing public perception and policy. What is the role of stakeholders in shaping environmental discourse? Stakeholders such as governments, NGOs, and corporations have diverse perspectives that shape environmental discourse. Power dynamics among these stakeholders influence which viewpoints are amplified or suppressed. How do sociopolitical contexts influence environmental discourse? Sociopolitical contexts significantly impact environmental discourse. The discourse on climate change, for instance, varies between developed and developing countries, reflecting different socio-economic concerns and power structures. Why is language important in shaping perceptions of the environment? Language is crucial in shaping environmental perceptions because it can reflect, reinforce, or challenge ecological ideologies. Certain linguistic patterns can either promote sustainability or perpetuate harmful practices towards the environment. What is the significance of storytelling in environmental communication? Storytelling, as explored in narrative theory, is significant because it helps structure and convey complex environmental issues in relatable ways. Compelling narratives can influence public perception and motivate action on environmental issues. How does EDA reveal power dynamics in environmental communication? EDA, through frameworks like CDA, uncovers how language reflects and shapes power dynamics in environmental communication. It shows how dominant groups can manipulate discourse to maintain power, often sidelining marginalized perspectives.